Welcome to the live stream. Today we are having GQ from YouTube channel, Just GQ. Man, it's going to be an awesome stream. He's an awesome content creator. His videos seems like you're watching a movie. So if you haven't checked him out yet, check him out right after this stream. It's awesome. Without further ado, we'll bring in Just GQ. What is going on, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Not too bad. I'm glad that you could make it to the stream today. We'll just go ahead and move it along into the first question.
Okay.
For the people that don't know you and your channel, just go ahead and tell us a little about yourself and your YouTube channel.
Well, for the people who don't know, I'm GQ. Channel name is Just GQ. I've been doing YouTube. This is entering my third year. I've been riding since 2007. Somebody could do the math for me. So, but 2007. And I've been riding harley-davidsons the last 4 years.
Okay. Now, what tell us a little about your YouTube channel. What's it all about? I know you're the leader of the Peace Army. So, yeah. What exactly is your YouTube channel about, and what exactly is the Peace Army?
Okay, so my YouTube channel, with my YouTube channel, I hope to inspire people to get out and really ride across the country, and it's beautiful. I mean, if you haven't taken a cross-country trip on your motorcycle, it's one of the most exhilarating, relaxing, inspiring, emotional things that you can never do. And when I went across to California a couple of years ago, it really it changed my life. And as far as the Peace Army, yes, I am the leader of the Peace Army. You feel me?
Sure.
The leader of the Peace Army. The Peace Army is in this motorcycle thing, this motorcycle community, and in MC culture, so motorcycle club culture, you encounter so many different people from all different walks of lives. And sometimes, you may encounter somebody who you're like, I don't know if I want to talk to him, or why does he look like that, or why is he in a corner, looking on mean and down and things like that. And so for me, the motorcycle brings us together, and we have more in common than we think, than we have apart. And so if I lead with the energy of peace, love, and joy, when I meet you, if I have a peaceful spirit, if I'm having great energy, I have a great personality, and I'm leading with such positivity, you can't help but to kind of, open up a little bit and,
right.
Let the connection really come together.
Yeah. So basically you're just trying to change the whole motorcycle culture and show people that don't ride, hey, we're people too. We just like to ride bikes and wear some different clothes.
Right. Because I mean, I get off my motorcycle gear, I'm boots, I'm in black leather, the whole 9 yards, and you get off the bike sometimes, and it's people are staring, and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? Especially right. Being from the South, we're super engaged and hey, how y'all doing? Y'all all right about? And they hey, yeah, it's I do want to change that perception. And once again, if you're leading with that type of energy, then you're definitely playing your part.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So, we got Psycho Fanatics in the house. He said, rocking that Psycho Fanatics cap with style, brother. You know it. Out off the press, Lee Sturgis Peace Army. I love it. Yeah, it's awesome message. And that logo, man. Did you make that logo?
I made the logo myself. Yes, I did. And I wanted something that I can put on anything. And it's worked out. I mean, it's really it's a symbol. I love to throw up the peace sign. I've always done it, just not even knowing. I'm just I just happen to wear a black helmet with my bike, and I was like, I need to combine those two. So I, put it together, got in Adobe, and mocked it up, and it's my thing now, and I love it.
That's good. I'm gonna have to get one of those hats. I love that freaking hat, man.
I got you. What color you need, man? What color you need? I got you.
I typically wear black and white, so
I got one for you right there.
Oh, my man. All right. I'll get you some. All right, I'll send you some of my merch. Let's go into question 2. You already answered this a little bit here. So what got you into riding motorcycles, and how long have you been riding?
What got me into riding motorcycles? I always loved two wheels in general. So as a young kid, I would ride my 10 speed or my 20 inch, my BMX. I would ride it all across the city. Me and a couple of friends, we would get together. We had, each time we went out on our adventure, we switched Like I'll have the backpack this time, and then the next person have the backpack with the patches and air pump and one of the little tools just in case we broke down. But I always had a love for two wheels. And when I went to college, I had a nice refund check one year. I had a nice little refund check, and I was like, I want to buy a motorcycle. Didn't know how to ride it and anything. I bought it. Me and one of my buddies, we went picked it up and came back, and I taught myself how to ride it in the parking lot, and the rest is history.
So you didn't really have any influence from like your family or anything? Just one day you're just like, I want a bike.
On a bike. I mean, I had a few uncles who rode, but I wasn't really around them. You know, I just more so as I got older, they're like, oh, you know, I used to ride this Kawasaki ZX9. Yeah, for real. But not a direct influence at all. It's more just like a self-made thing.
Okay. That's pretty much how I was too. Like I never really knew anybody that rode a motorcycle. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it, and rest is history. So this next question, I actually have a little video. So hold on. Okay, so in a lot of your videos, you have all these analogies, and sometimes, man, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have to rewind. I'm like, what did he just say? And then I start laughing because they're so good, but funny at the same time. So before you answer this question, let me go ahead and show them what I'm talking about.
When I heard they were close, I hopped on my bike and tracked them down like a Navajo scout.
And the crowds got thicker than a Popeye's biscuit smothered with Nutella.
While the sun started dropping like Chris Paul in the playoffs, the temperature fell as well, with the sounds of our bikes going back and forth off the walls like an argumentative couple. And the cold had us constantly adjusting like trying to gain reception with a hanger from an antenna. And we were focused like a suburban kid on the Adderall taking the ACT. And the sun shifted over us, causing our shadows to lean to the side like a smooth criminal.
How do you come up with all those analogies? Because those are I get a kick out of them, and they're great.
Honestly, and this is the right hand to the man truth. I have no idea. I literally I had a really great English teacher. I took AP English when I was in high school by accident, and my teacher would always tell me we were writing, and he would always say, try to make sure someone can close their eyes and visualize what's going on. So if it's funny, if it's me just talking about like the scenery, it's me saying something about how the rain is hitting me. Like, what can you say to make them truly understand what you're going through in that moment? And so I'm sitting here, people ask me like, oh, did you rap? Were you a rapper at once? Like, nah, I've never been a rapper. I don't rap. I just really sit there and try to make sure I'm connecting with the audience in more ways than just visual. Like, I want them to hear what I'm going through as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're using those, that makes the video so much more immersive, and you get sucked in even more because you're just waiting to see what happens next. That's absolutely awesome. So, do you write any poetry or anything like that?
I've written poetry, but I'm not a poet at all. I don't consider myself a poet. I've written a few poems. That's about the farthest is that, nothing crazy. I don't have a massive like poetry library or just a big log. Like the book that I write in is like the book that I use for YouTube. It's just like I'm writing my narrative. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Workman Experience is asking, have you performed spoken word?
Once. One time I did it. Contrary to popular belief, like I don't like to be in front of a lot of people. Like it's something that honestly, like YouTube has helped me get through. Like it's not easy to, put yourself out there. I did it once. Like I don't know if I like it. And even when I started the YouTube thing, I knew I wanted to tell a story, but I hate like the sound of my voice. I hate listening to me. And so I was just like, I don't want to do it. So for the longest, I didn't put any narratives, and I was like, you know what, forget it, just go with it. They like it or they not. I'm slowly becoming more and more comfortable with being in front of people and just like speaking in front of people.
Yeah, that's the great thing about YouTube, because I mean the audience, believe it or not, most of these YouTubers, they don't really like people. They're in a room, in front of a video camera. It's just them and the camera. And then when they're done, they're like, I don't want to go out in public and talk to people and stuff. I mean, obviously there's some people that like talking with other people, but yeah, it definitely helped me get a little more comfortable, you know, talking, and then after you get over the fact where you gotta listen to yourself talk, that's a big hurdle to jump.
That's huge. That is huge.
And some people don't ever get over it. We're gonna dive down into the next question. So you're in a motorcycle club. So I've never been in a motorcycle club. A lot of people haven't. So what's it like being a part of a motorcycle club?
You know, when I'm pretty sure we've all grown up riding, you know, pedal bike, you know. It's like having those friends and doing the same thing, but as adults together, consistent and like under the same like band. Like we're all a part of the same organization. We have the same ideas, the same values, the same you know, things. It's the same. It's just a certain community of people that you just vibe and gel with. And when you get that kind of people together who like to do the same types of things, and you get to go across the country with them, it's like no other. And I tell people, like people ask me all the time, you know, well, I don't want to feel like I don't want to join a motorcycle club because I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And it's like, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to, you know, join a motorcycle club to ride your motorcycle. You can ride your motorcycle by yourself, with a group of friends, in a club, without a club, doesn't matter. As long as you're having fun and being safe while you're doing it, that's the only thing that really, like, truly matters. But for me, and one of the biggest things, I found myself at one point riding a lot by myself. That's what started me kind of like looking toward, like, I should join a club or, you know, get a part of some type of organization. A lot of people have misconceptions of club and, you know, some of the things that they're about. And I want to dispel that. That's why I record, not everything, but I record pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? So you can see, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we ride. This is how we get down. This is what happens at gas stops. You're going to see breakdowns. You're going to see laughter. You're going to see crying. You're going to see everything. We're normal people. We're human beings, just like everyone else. And once I went into that direction and I joined the club and I saw like, okay, like this is cool. I joined because it was something that I wanted to do. But as you get into it, you really see there's a lot of like benefit to it. I'm more comfortable now going across country and going to Canada and going all these other places I've been because I know, like, one call, I can make a call to a brother 2,000 miles away and say, hey, I'll be in Detroit in a couple of weeks, you know, I'm coming through. Hey, don't worry about it. Come stay at my house, you know, we hang out. And, you know, it's the network is probably one of the most underrated aspects of. I've had issues where I've had bike trouble. People who I was riding with had bike trouble. I can make a call, and if I didn't know someone knew someone else who knew someone else, and the community is so like vast and so tight. Like we were off the road like that. We canceled AAA more times than we used it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You have that peace of mind, you know, no matter where you're traveling, because I'm sure there's different like chapters across the United States, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like your own AAA right there, pretty much. You know what I mean? But that leads me into my next question. So question number 5, what do you think the most common misconception that people have about motorcycle club?
That we're all up to no good. That we're all about, like, Sons of Anarchy, like, ruined a lot of, you know, people's conception of bikers, because not all motorcycle clubs like do nowhere near like that kind of stuff. Like that's not nothing we even touching. You know what I'm saying? It's just a group of people who enjoy riding their bikes together. I mean, that's literally what it is, you know. But the biggest misconception that we're up to no good, or we're in trouble, or we're running drugs or guns. Like I see, Sons of Anarchy is just like it put a big stain. And don't get me wrong, I love the show. Like,
yeah, I was gonna wait till you stopped talking. I was gonna say that was a hell of a show.
It was a hell of a show. Like I enjoyed it. You know, I watched it twice. You know, the whole thing's back. I'm gonna watch it again. And but some people like take that as like, yeah, that's real life. Like that's you know, that's what happens when, you know, and you see people pull up. And that's another reason why I'm like so big on like the Peace Army thing. I'm like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, I'm GQ, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm leading with such, like, positive energy. They're like, okay, well, you know, they went and played, they were pretty cool. Like, they wasn't what I thought they were. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And a lot of these people don't realize, you know, like, a lot of these clubs, they're the ones putting on the fundraisers, they're raising money for like charities and stuff. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with a motorcycle club. Obviously, you got to respect them, but I mean, they're pretty much the nicest people that you'll meet, honestly.
Yeah, man. We have matter of fact, we just gave away a scholarship to some kids going to college. It's our Cold Blue scholarship. Cold Blue is one of our members, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. He was in our Fayetteville chapter, and we give a Cold Blue scholarship of excellence, excellent scholarship every year to a high school student. And we raise money. We give back to the unfortunate. We sponsor kids for Christmas and sponsor families for Christmas. We do a lot of things for the community. We do put on Easter egg hunts. We cook food for the community. We are really about uplifting each other, and I think that's something that a lot of don't see and we don't promote enough of.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, we just need it pretty much with YouTube. I mean, that's the easiest way to promote it, because that reaches millions of people. So, and then you always have those few bad apples that make it worse for all of us. But I mean, all you can do is join the peace army and spread the positivity.
Right. Love. That's right. I got a hat waiting for him.
Yeah, I'll be wearing that for sure, no doubt. So, all right. So we'll move on to our next question number 6. So what have you learned about yourself through the experience of riding a motorcycle?
That's a good question. I've learned a lot. I've learned first and foremost in regards to myself, how strong I am of a person. I knew I was strong, but motorcycling is such an escape for a lot of people. And just like full transparency here, I've dealt with like depression and anxiety and things like that, and being able to get on my motorcycle when I'm at my work and then travel somewhere and come back and feel like a renewed like spirit, a renewed like soul, a renewed just vibe about myself, and it becomes infectious. It's like, man, I want everybody else to do that. And that's like another thing with the peace army. It's like, I want people, when they're feeling like they're down, that you're not alone. Like this motorcycle has allowed me to realize, like, I can overcome so many things. The two wheels just happen to be the conduit that I do it through.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've learned a lot about myself from riding a motorcycle. I mean, you do things that you never thought you would do before. I mean, riding cross country, you ride cross country. I mean, I haven't gone quite cross country, but I've gone some miles.
Yeah, I would have, you couldn't have paid me a couple of years ago, just say 10 years ago, and say, hey, I'm going to bet you're going to ride to Toronto, Canada solo. I was like, I'm not, no. I would have never thought I did that. But here I am today, and it's like, man, I did that, and I can do so much more. And so like each time I come back, it's like, okay, I want to go further. I want to push myself more. I want to show other people what it's like to grow in this sport of motorcycle. And it's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody needs to jump on their bike and go to Key West and then go to Seattle, but just to push yourself a little bit further each time is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a comment from Workman Experience that I saw earlier, and he said, your journey to Canada and tribute to your mother, this is what sets you apart from others. And then we have Andrew saying the challenge of being a better rider and improving your skills is what I really enjoy. And that's another valid point, because when you're working on all your skills, you're taking yourself to another level. I mean, it's like crawl, walk, and run, and you're always learning. So that was a good point. I like that. So now we will move into the next question. In your opinion, what do you think the most important item is to carry on your motorcycle? You actually just did a video on this not too long ago.
For me, if I had to just take one item, and with anything, it doesn't matter what it is, I only could take one thing with me, it would be my phone.
Okay.
For me, it would be my phone, because I can call somebody if I get a flat. I can call somebody if I need some money. I can call somebody I need a gas. I can call somebody if I need a place to stay. But if we're talking about tool-wise, tire patch kit.
Right.
It's like hands down. I mean, tools, I gotta have the tools though, but tire patch is like the thing that blowout and flat tires like the
Right.
It's the absolute worst thing.
Yeah, I think for me, if it was one item, it's hard to choose because, you know, people that actually ride and go on trips, you kind of need quite a bit of stuff. But
Yeah.
I think just to keep myself comfortable, I would say rain gear, because there's nothing worse than being soaking wet, and it's just awful. What do you usually keep in your bike, like standard, that's always there?
Yeah, of course, toolkit. And when I say toolkit, some people, they get these toolkits and they buy toolkits and it's too many tools for the bike. Like, you're not going to use all of them. It's just as extra weight. I personally have a tool for everything that I need to take off or to fix on my bike. So I want to have a condensed tool set, an air compressor, a jumper, if I need to jump my bike off. Also acts as a phone charger as well in a pinch, and a flashlight as well. Rain gear, hands down. If you don't have water resistant or waterproof boot, then waterproof boot cover. Heated gear, the weather can change. It can get very nippy, especially you going across the desert, specific times of the year. Not rechargeable heated gear, but plug-in heated gear that goes into the tender. It's a huge difference. Extra pairs of socks. I hate wet feet if my feet were to get wet. It's a lot. Like, I keep a lot on the bike.
Right. Yeah. So my cousin, he's in here. He says zip ties. That is a good one.
All in my my condensed toolkit thing, and it's like zip ties. I got bungee cords, all kinds.
Boots and jeans rider first aid kit. Yeah, I got one of those. Yeah. And then my wife says Daytona last year. When I went to Daytona, I went the second week like I am this time, and that was the second week was just straight rain. It was awful. But yeah,
that rain's terrible.
Right. And then as far as the toolkit goes, so I put my own together, and it is so unbelievably hard to pick and choose what tools you're going to put in there, because it's like, man, I want that. I literally just had to condense mine down. I think it was like a couple weeks ago, because I picked it up and the damn thing weighed like felt like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
But I would say probably for the toolkit, you know, your basic sockets with a ratchet, you know, maybe a crescent wrench, a couple screwdrivers. I mean, just the basic stuff, because you don't want all that weight in there while you're trying to go. Right.
It gets, that weight adds up quick, especially when you're going long distances. Like, I have a scale in my garage, and I'm like, okay, let me put my saddlebag and make sure I'm not putting too much weight in each saddlebag. I try to make sure that it doesn't get too heavy.
Right. Yeah, because if they're uneven, that could throw you into a death wobble. Nobody wants that. Boots and Jeans Rider says kidnap tape, aka duct tape. I don't know what you guys are doing, Boots and Jeans Rider. but we do not condone that type of behavior over here at the Family Channel. You know, Scott Lynn's old school, because he says plastic grocery bags over your feet. Well, to keep them warm and dry.
It does work. I've done it.
Scott Lynn also says, when is GQ going to ride the $1 Million Highway? I just added that to my bucket list.
In July. I'll be doing that in July.
That's another one on my list. I got so many places I want to go, just gotta find the time. So now we will move into, this is going to be a fun question, and this will also be for everybody down in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. So how do you feel about electric motorcycle? Good, bad, overrated, underrated?
There's a motorcycle for everybody and everyone. I mean, I guess it's just something about, and we ride harley-davidson, you know what I'm saying? We ride harley-davidson. It's just something about when I go in my garage and I back it out and I hit that starter and I hear that,
oh yeah,
I hear that rumble, I get chills, you know? I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready to get on this thing. And, you know, I just can't imagine me just going, and just, you know what I mean? I can't. I mean, it's for someone. I just don't believe it's for me. Even zipping around town, like, well, you just go here and there. I'm like, well, I'll take the Road King. It's a little smaller, a little bit lighter. I'll just, hop on that and zip around town. I'll spend the gas. I'll spend the gas.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. that's what the whole experience is about, man. And it's like, this is why they make different exhausts for your bike, because you're trying to find that sound that you like.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I don't think they're the future, but I think that we're gonna end up seeing them a lot more. I know I don't know if you know of Rich the Return Rider, but he actually test rode one. He's another YouTuber, and he said he couldn't stop smiling the whole time he was riding it, because they're just so quick. And now they got them to where they'll go, I think he said about 150 miles, which isn't terrible. I mean, so.
Yeah, but I mean, even with that, my trajectory as far as like my riding future is all about like distance.
Right.
So, yeah, I can do 150, but if it takes me 30 minutes, 40 minutes to recharge and then do it again, you're cutting into my time. We don't have a lot of time. You know, I get a couple of days off from work a year. I need to make the most of it. Time is of the essence. And it's not meaning that I'm rushing everything. I just want to maximize the time. So if it takes, and I'm just throwing out, 30 minutes to recharge the electric motorcycle from pretty much zero, that's a lot of hours, additional hours added on to my total trip.
Yeah, not to mention when you're planning your route, you have to find where all those chargers are. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think a lot of them are just right off the freeway. You got to go to Walmart, you got to go to certain places to find them. Let's see what we got down here in the comments. Andrew Soltz says not enough range. Yep, for sure. But they're starting to come out with bigger batteries, so we'll stay tuned for that. Scott Lynn said, "No way, give me good old gasoline." Yeah.
Yeah, Scott, let me get that gasoline, man.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but when I start my bike up and I get that whiff of the exhaust, that smells good to me. I mean, I'm not sitting there behind the tailpipe just huffing it in. Just a quick sniff, Ray's Moto Life says, no thanks, just not into it. No electric motorcycle for me. Andre says, just as bad as the electric truck. Yeah. Boots and Jeans Riders neutral, just not for me. That's fair.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Karen says, not no way, not no how. All right, I'm going to guess that's a no from her. Lee Sturgis says, you can't feel the roar in an electric bike. That's another point.
Right.
You can definitely feel the torque, though, I would imagine. Because from what I've seen, when you twist that throttle, those things are gone. And oh my gosh, Scotland says deaf people can't hear you. True. Like playing a trumpet with no sound. Yeah, what if there's a power outage at your exit? Very valid point.
Well,
all right.
You can't take, like, it's certain things like we take for granted. Like, if I know I'm going somewhere, like if I'm going toward the West Coast and then like gas stations get few and far between, I can pack a gallon gas container in my saddlebag.
Right.
You can't pack extra like electricity, at least not that I know of.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think so. That'd be it'd be just as big as the battery in your bike, probably. Kelly B. Glyden says, electric not going to work for me. Yeah.
Shout out to my man, Kelly B, man. If y'all not following Kelly B, man, go follow my man, Kelly B. Glyden on his YouTube channel. He going to be down there in Daytona with us as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Just GQ is going to be out there in Daytona. A bunch of us are going to be out there in Daytona, and we can't wait for that. That's going to be such a fun time. DC Cycler says, nothing like the sound of a gas-powered Indian Challenger. You spelled Harley-Davidson wrong there, DC.
Come on, DC in the house.
Yeah. We'll go over to question 9. So I'm getting ready to go on a long motorcycle trip, probably the longest one that I've been on. So what tips do you have for long motorcycle trip?
First, drink water. Drink a lot of water. Prior to, don't think that like the day of or the night before you can drink a lot of water, be hydrated. Hydration is probably the biggest thing that will help you along on your long distance journey for a few reasons. It keeps you focused. It keeps you from fatigue. It helps cut your appetite a little bit, so you're not eating that gas station hot dogs and stuff like that. And you really don't want to be dehydrated. You get headaches. Your vision starts to get all kind of wonky and things like that. But hydration is the main thing. 2, I would say make sure that your bike is mechanically sound. So prior to, not the day of, prior to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, make sure your tires are good. Check your oil, change your fluid. Just go around your bike and tighten, take a wrench or a socket and just give a half turn on some things, because a lot of people, we ride, especially with holidays, we ride, you vibrate a lot, and things, they get loose over time. So just take the time out to just turn some wrenches and make sure things are nice and tight on your motorcycle. And make sure that you are properly prepared for where you're going. Meaning your gear, making sure you have your tools together, making sure you have your heated gear if it's going to be cold, make sure you have your rain gear if it's going to be wet. Just keep it on your bike. And that's probably it. Also, I also download I have some weather apps on my phone, so I download a couple of those, and I can constantly track it on my way, so I can see. You just said you got caught in like this nasty storm going down Daytona, and
Yeah.
I'll pull up my phone. If I know it's raining hard, I'm looking at the trajectory, and it's saying, hey, it's moving, northeast at like 20 miles an hour. Or maybe in like an hour and a half, it'll be clear, so I'll just hunker down and just wait. Or if it's just there and I need to get home, then I just,
Yep, you got to do what you got to do.
gotta do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for me because when I leave my house, it's going to be in the 30s. But then once I get further and further south, I mean, it's probably going to be like 70.
Yeah. Once you hit, depending on which way, anything south of like the Tennessee, like South Carolina area, like you should be good.
Right. Yeah. So Boots and Jeans Rider says have flexibility for sure. You never know what's going to happen. Workman Experience says, under what circumstance would GQ or Joe trailer the bikes to an event? I'll let you go first, GQ.
Would GQ trailer a bike to an event? Yes. There's a caveat. If I had a real show bike, like if I had like a big wheel bagger or really old vintage bike that I was putting in a competition or something like that, then I would trailer my bike. But any other circumstances, I gotta ride. I'm gonna ride. Of course, health reasons, things like that. But if it wasn't a health related issue or like a time constraint, it's something I really wanted to do, then
Right.
At the time and everything was okay, I'm gonna ride no matter what.
Yeah, that's a good point with time constraints. So last year I trailered down to Daytona, but this year I'm riding. So I mean, it just all depends on what you can do. I mean, there's no shame of trailering your bike all the way out there. Quite frankly, after a certain point, you're wishing that you trailered. Especially if you're in some bad weather and stuff. But I mean, for the people that come to these rallies and they try to talk down on other riders because they trailered, it's like you don't know the circumstances. You don't know why they had to. Some people can't ride all that distance, So I'm not scared. I actually just bought an enclosed trailer, so it'll get used.
It's definitely nothing wrong with trailering your motorcycle. I don't have a problem with people trailing their motorcycle. Me personally, the journey for me is riding the motorcycle from point A to point B and then back to point A, and just seeing everything from a different perspective. And that's what I enjoyed the most on my cross-country trip, just being able to just stop and just, or not necessarily stop, but just like riding and then seeing something like that just catches your eye. I don't look at the road like that when I'm in my vehicle, I'm just like, just ready to get there. But when I'm riding on my motorcycle, I'm truly enjoying all of nature. Like I'm being stimulated visually, I'm being stimulated with my hearing, the smells. Like it's just a different type of experience that I get to take in. So if I could and everything's okay and the time permitted, I want to ride.
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way. If I have the time and I can do it, I'll ride it. But if I got a trailer, it is what it is. Especially in the different climates that you live in. So I'm just squeaking by getting to Florida and with being March in Ohio. I mean, that's risky as it is. But it's nice to trailer if you're in a spot where you get a lot of snow. You can take the bike out, and
right. And it's
warm.
Goes back to, your point, like if you can, fortunately for me, I live in the South. I live right by the Gulf of Mexico. I can ride my bike 24/7, 365 if I choose. Yeah, it'll get a little cold from time to time, but I don't have to contend with ice. I don't have to contend with snow, some rain here and there and a little bit of chilly weather. But for the most part, I get to ride. So if people are complaining that you're not packing up in the middle of, February to come down from Ohio or New York or something on your bike, then that's shame on them. Like, you got to be you got to have common sense too.
Right. Melissa McDonald says, I agree with this. Riding pulls me out of my small little, I don't even know how to say it, Microphone. Okay, in my head and connects me to the world. I don't even like to ride with music. Riding clears my head like nothing else. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so now we got the last question. Question 10. So what's the worst experience you've ever had on a motorcycle?
Whew. My very first long ride on my Harley was my very first one. Wasn't prepared at all. I bought my first Road King, and like 2 weeks later, I was like, that wasn't even 2 weeks. It was like a week later. I went to the Lone Star Rally in Galveston, and I mean, just looking back at it, it was so irresponsible of what I did was so irresponsible. I didn't check anything. I didn't check fluids. My back tire was kind of bald. I didn't have any gear. I had the little plastic. I think I really threw it away this time. But the little
Brain bucket.
Yeah, I had the little plastic tiny brain bucket and a pair of shades, and I just thought I was just, I thought I was hot stuff. Right? You couldn't tell me nothing, man. And the guys I rode down with, they were like, they're gonna leave early. And it was like, why y'all leave? We just got to Lone Star. Like, why we leave? Like, it's a bad storm coming in. We're gonna get out before the storm hit. And I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait. I'll be all right. Man, it literally stormed on me from like Galveston all the way to approximately maybe an hour away from my house. We traveled with the rain. I didn't have any rain gear. Like I said, I had the brain bucket. The water was just smacking my face, smacking my skin. I didn't have long sleeves on, and I hydroplaned a couple of times, like off of some bumps and things like that, and it was very nerve wracking. It was very scary. I'm not gonna even lie. I would be the first to tell people about that experience, and that's another reason why like I'm so hell bent on the safety aspect of like being prepared, like making sure you have this, making sure everybody doesn't wear full face. That's their choice. I wear full face. I keep thinking about the times I hydroplaned, and if I would have fell back or fell forward, what would have happened to my head and things like that. And I have kids to come back. I make sure that I leave and come back in one piece. And that was the worst experience ever. And I told myself I would never, ever, ever, ever let that happen again.
Yeah. See, now I almost feel like that experience is almost like almost everybody's experience. It might not be their first or second experience, but like when you're a fresh rider, you don't realize everything that goes into it. It's 60 degrees outside. It feels great outside. I don't need no jacket. I still do it once in a while, and I kick myself in the butt for it. I think we all do.
Then it drops real quick, and it's pretty now.
I gotta tell my wife every time we go on the bike, I'm like, you might want to bring a jacket. It's gonna get cold tonight. Say, I'm good, and then she's complaining that she's cold on the back. I tried to tell you, but you learn so much from when you first start until you continuously keep on learning stuff. I've learned so much in the past couple of years from when I first started. So you always got to have an open mind, and I mean, that is what it is. Brian Smith says, my question for GQ is, what is the most important thing to know when you're riding solo long distance? It's a good question.
The most important thing to know when riding solo and long distance is to know yourself. That what I would say is like the biggest thing. Like know your comfort zone when it comes down to how far you can ride in a day. Because when you ride at long distances, you got to put some miles in. So you got to know when you're pushing yourself too much. You got to know when to shut it down. You got to know, you got to believe in your confidence to make. If you're not confident that you can do it, I would say build up your confidence by doing smaller trips, and then stretch out further and further and further. But I would say just confidence in oneself is the biggest thing to know to me.
Right. Yeah, you definitely got to know your limits. Don't push yourself too far, because it's not going to be worth it at the end of the day, So I would say the most important thing for long trips is just be as safe as possible. That's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
Boots and Jeans Rider says mishaps make great stories.
They do.
Definitely.
They definitely do. I can laugh at it now. It's like, oh my God, like, I have a bunch of pictures of that ride, like bunch of selfies. Like somebody actually gave me their rain gear because they felt so bad for me. That was without rain gear, and it was pouring down. It's like, you know what, man, you need this more. And the guy, he was putting his bike back on the trailer, and he was like, man, where's the rain gear? And I'm just like dripping and just like walking around looking like Swamp Thing. And he's like, oh no, man, you can take it, man. It's all good. Blah, blah, blah. And crazy, like we're still really good friends to this day. Had never met each other didn't know each other from a can of paint, and he gave me his rain gear. Like, I just thought that was
Right.
that was an awesome thing.
Yeah, it is for sure. We are going to open it up for Q&A with
No pun intended, right? No pun.
yeah. I should have put Q and J, right? No, I didn't even realize that until you said something. But if you guys got a question for Q, go ahead, drop it down in the chat below, and we will gladly answer it. I did see, it was a little while ago, but I want to go back to it. Workman Experience said, me again, what are your top 5 annual events / rallies?
Top, I don't have, I can't say a top 5. I want to just say like experience it. And for me, this is a combination of like rallies and like things in the motorcycle community. Going down to Key West, I think every motorcyclist should do it at least one time. So that's one. Going to Niagara Falls on your motorcycle. And it's just, if you've never been in general, like do it. That's amazing. Riding through the Pig Trail in Arkansas, loved it. It was just beautiful, just amazing. Traveling west, so whichever way you decide to go, but a lot of us, like, you have the East Coast, and I split the country like from like Houston, Dallas, like east, and then you have everything on this side. So traveling, anyone who's from the East Coast, taking a cross-country trip West Coast would be another thing, whether that's on Interstate 40, Interstate 10. It's just beautiful. Like, you literally watch the landscape like transform right between your eyes. And I would probably say that's about it. I mean, that's just for me. Like, those probably are the top 5 things that I love. I've enjoyed so far. Like, I love it.
Okay. So now some people are different. So some people enjoy riding out to the rallies and then just hanging out directly at that rally the whole time and then going home. So for me, I like going to a rally, hanging out for a little bit, and then just riding, because I'm not all about the crazy party and stuff like that.
I totally agree. And anytime I get a chance, even like if I'm doing stuff with my motorcycle club and a different chapter is having something in a different city, I go out there, I hang out with my brothers and things like that. And then I'm online, like, okay, what's in the area? Like, what's
Right.
to eat? What's something new to see? Where can I take a nice picture? And I go out and document those experiences. So I'm the same way. Like, when we go to Daytona, I'm going to see everything I can see. Then I'm going to say, okay, where can I really get some good riding in or find some nice photo ops?
Right. Now that spot where Tall's having that bike show, which is on the 10th, I believe. Have you ever been in that area?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to check that out, because last year I just stuck around where everything else was, and he brought that location up, and that looks like a nice chill spot to check out and see something new. Boots and Jeans Rider says, hey Q, for those that know, talk about what a second line is.
Oh, I don't think we have enough time for that one.
Uh-oh. No, we got all day.
It's a New Orleans thing.
Okay.
So traditionally, funerals down here in the city is it's a celebration. It's truly a celebration. And New Orleans is pretty much like, one of the birthplaces of jazz, and a lot of it's a lot of musicality down here. And we put music into everything that we do. So when someone passes away, you have the family, which is the first line, and then you have the band, or pretty much the band, which is the second line. And so the second line is when a bunch of musicians play. It's typically at celebration. So even though we celebrate, someone's passed away, we're not celebrating, but you do it
right. Yeah.
Celebration for that, weddings, graduations, things like that. You have those people who follow or lead in the middle of the crowd of people who are at the event. So the second line is in the case for someone who passes away, you have the people, the family, the hearse and things like that. Then you have the band playing, following them, and then everyone else following the band, and they're playing jazz music and things like that. So that's a second line. Just Google second line,
Okay.
second line New Orleans, and it'll all make sense. It's kind of hard to really explain. It's one of those things that you have to experience, and everyone behind the second line. They're dancing. They're, they have their handkerchiefs, and they're just celebrating what's going on at that moment.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that. 'Cause that sounds really
And
interesting.
right.
What's that?
No, he said blues.
Oh, okay.
Dancing blues, correctly.
Karen saying another awesome stream. Thank you, Joe and Q. No problem. Ask Q if his club member on the Goldwing pulled out the coffee table yet.
Nah, I don't think he ever pulled out the coffee table. I'll be looking for it in the near future.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that video on his channel, one of the club members supposedly broke down on the Goldwing, and he opens up the trunk. He's got everything in there, like a kitchen sink in there, man.
Yeah, everything. That was fun.
That was good. All right, man. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on. For sure, it's been absolute pleasure. It's been awesome time. But before you go, if people want to find you, just go ahead and shout out like all your social media and where they can find you.
Yes, so I am GQ. My channel is just GQ, JUST, space G, space KUE. You can find me on all your social media platforms at just GQ. That's Facebook, Instagram. I believe I have a Twitter somewhere in the closet. YouTube, of course, and you can check out some of my merchandise on my Teespring. The link is in my my YouTube and also on my Instagram as well. And I just want to say thank you. I want to just much love, much respect to what you're doing. I'm super proud of you. Keep growing, keep going, keep showing, and I can't wait to see what else YouTube has in store for you, man. So like, I really appreciate you having me on the show. I don't take this for granted at all. This YouTube community is so big, but yet so small at the same time. And when we get together, it's gonna be like, hey, yeah, wait, brother. I cannot wait till we get down to Daytona.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for all the kind words. We'll go ahead and see you in Daytona.
For my man Joe, once again, thank you. And this is GQ, the leader of the Peace Army, telling you guys to be safe, be cool, and most importantly, be you.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the closeout. That was awesome. All right, guys. I want to thank GQ for coming on to the stream. Make sure you go and check out his channel. And another last minute thank you to Eagle Lights for sponsoring the stream. As always, guys, this is Joe Go with Joe Go Motorcycle Adventures. Until next time, ride on.